We have some really wonderful things to talk about today, and we'll get into those in a moment. But first of all, I would like to remind you that Angel Heart Radio programs, none of them, should be used to replace your legal, medical, or professional advice, nor your own good judgment, right? Listen to your wisdom. And that our opinions here are our opinions. We're not here to tell you what to do, how to live your life, or anything else. We're here to remind you that you're a divine and precious and amazing being here on earth. You are divinity in motion. So thank you so much for joining us. And as always, we are really grateful, aren't we, Carol Anne, to have so many amazing people with us, supporting us, and who we can share with.
Oh, look, it's just wonderful. We're so blessed, and I thank you all for being here with us. It's really great to have you here with us, and it's just wonderful to be on the show this morning.
Yes. So have you ever experienced this? And I'm sure 100% of you are going to say yes. Have you ever experienced that you've got everything set, you've made a plan, you've invited everyone, everything's arranged, the schedule's done, the organising's done, and all you've got to do now is get yourself all gussied up and show up. And then right at that last moment, boom, it's all changed. And this is what's happened to us today. Janet thought that the show was tomorrow. So it was wonderful, though, that Carol Anne and I didn't have a guest booked in for next week. So same time next week, we're going to do that amazing show with Janet Hickox on the human design astrology and where we're going to next. How are we being led into the Aquarian age, right? It's going to be amazing. But today we're going to talk about the order of divine flow. Aren't we, Carol Anne?
Which is what we're in just at this particular moment, because, hello, let's pick up. Where are we going to go to from here? Yep, we'll just go with the flow.
Exactly. Oh, we've got Nathan Knight with us. Yay. Just go with the flow. You're right, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
How fabulous to have you with us. So if you're watching anywhere else except on Angel Heart Radio on Facebook or Angel Heart Radio on YouTube, please join us on one of those two channels, because then, hey, we can see your comments. We can interact with you. You can ask questions. And we love having this time with you. And hey, Gabby Forrester's with us. Hello, beautiful girl. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Hi, Gabby. How are you? I was just trying to write you a response, and instead of that, my screen has completely changed. I'm not really sure what I did wrong, but
doesn't matter. We're here.
Whatever.
So here we are. That's the divine flow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carol Anne, the thing about divine flow, and I was quickly chatting with the angels this morning once I realised that the show we had advertised for today is actually going to be next week now. The thing about divine flow is it brings us back to our purpose in having free will, and that is making conscious choice. No one said it's going to be a cakewalk, but we do have the power of choice, and that power is entirely up to us, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And that's the exciting thing, really, because we have free will, we have choice, we have all of these things and that we can use and that we can step up and all of these kinds of things. So, sorry, I was just a bit distracted because I was trying to get the messages back again. But, it's everything is divine timing, even though I don't like that, and going with the flow and, all of these things. Because I always used to be one of these people who I didn't like divine timing because I wanted it and I wanted it then. I didn't want to wait until it was divine timing. But, we learn all of these things as we go along. And I suppose that's another part of the exciting part of life is that, we get given examples of things that happen and things that change in our lives, things we have no control over it. And it's then how we react and accept that and go with the flow. And today is just going to be a flow show.
It's a flow show, guys. So not only do we have Gabby and Nathan with us on Facebook, we also have Darlene with us. So Darlene, thank you for joining us as well. The great thing about divine timing, divine flow, and handing over is that you get unlimited chances, right? was so cool because there have been times, hey, Michelle's with us. Hello, Michelle, welcome. There are so many times like you, Caroline, I'm like, no, I want to do it now. I want to do it this way in this time. And I can really put a lot of energy into something. And I used to spend a whole lot of time trying to make it happen with my human energy. And the more that I began to move back into release, surrender, call it what you will, handing over and having conversations with God and the angels, the more I began to feel more comfortable about letting that go and not feeling like I'd messed up and that it was my responsibility and I had to make it all happen the way I said it was going to happen.
Yes, and that's a really big one, that we let go of that thought that we're responsible for it all. We have to make it right. We said this was going to happen, and so we have to make it happen. But that's not the reality of life. All of these things happen for a reason. And, so we just have to go with the flow, talk to the angels, do whatever, and know that it didn't happen the other way because it wasn't meant to. And so when we can accept that fact and know that what we're doing now is what is meant to be, then we can work with it better. We can understand it better. We don't have to be in control of everything that's happening because it's like that funny saying, you want to make God laugh, you tell him your plans.
I'll tell you what, he was laughing his head off this morning. So if you guys have anything you'd like to share, any questions you'd like to ask, experiences you'd like to share with us, simply put them in the comments on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page on this live stream video or on YouTube, and we'll be able to see them and communicate with you. Because I was brought up with that old saying, well, you made your bed, now lie in it. And it was very much a time on the planet, wasn't it, where everything was very much about, okay, this is the way it's going to be, and it's conformity, and it's stepping into that, stepping up to it, and just being quiet about things that didn't necessarily feel harmonious to us personally.
Yeah.
And of course, along came lots of amazing people, the Indigos and the Indigo Scouts being, just to name, a couple of these incredible bands of groups of souls that have come to the earth to start to shake things up. And yet those old patterns still reside in many of us, and they certainly reside in me. And then other things then start clicking in, like, for example, so I have to change the show. So I need to let everybody know. I need to, it's freezing all of a sudden. I'm sitting and I'm cold, so I've got to get changed.
It is.
Yeah,
it's and then really, really cold.
And then it was like, ah! And then I realized, the angels and God are always speaking to me, and like they're all speaking to all of us all the time. And they said, well, have you ever thought about teaching Carol Anne about doing some of this? And I was like, you're right. Because part of my journey here, and I bet it's the same for a lot of you guys, it's not about not doing, it's about asking for assistance. Yeah?
Exactly the same as asking the angels. And, I'm excited to learn how to do all of these things. But you
are, and you're so willing. And see, Caroline, you are so practical in so many ways, which is so beautiful. It's such an amazing skill. And so together, when we come together, we've got so many skills available between the two of us, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I forget about that, and I go back into that old, you made your bed, now lie in it. You've got to do all this. You're responsible for everything and everybody on the planet. So I'm like you guys, I'm learning all the time and making different choices and, coming out of that. Sorry, Carol Anne.
Yeah. No, you're right. We're all learning all of the time. And to me, I the thing I have to learn is unlearn a memory and thought that I had. I have to unlearn that I'm not technical, and I have to learn that I can be technical. No,
Yep.
I will be technical. I might have to make a lot of notes, but that's the practical side of me. I need to write down the steps so that then if something doesn't work, I don't go into a spin. But I'm more than willing to step up and learn how to do these things, because Angel Heart Radio is just such an amazing gift for humanity, that the more that we can all work together to bring this beautiful being to humanity, the better it is. And we always feel better if we know how to do something, that we're not dependent on other people to do things for us. And yes, I am a very practical person, and
Which is
that's
wonderful.
just the way I am, and I love it. But, you know, it's
I
like,
love it too.
I can remember, you know, I always, when I was young, everything had to be done. You know, we were brought up in a different era, and I'm a lot older than most of you. And so everything had to be right. And many years ago, I was working at a Body and Soul Festival in Launceston in Tasmania. And this lady who was in a stall opposite me, she said to me, "Oh, I'd like to do a face reading on you. Would you like it?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." And the first thing she said to me is, "I have this really deep crease here in my forehead." And she said, "As you grew up," she said, "it was drilled into you, wasn't it? Everything had to be right. You had to do everything right." Yes, that's true. So I'm trying to erase the depth of that and just do it a little bit. It's really interesting. And I thought to myself, how interesting is that she can just look at me and tell me something like that. It was just amazing. And yes, so I'm practical, and I'm not as everything has to be right as much as I used to be.
And this is our growth and our trajectory, isn't it? And I mean, the thing is, Carol Anne, and this has been a big part of for me too, because I mean, it was last year, the end of last year, you said, "I'd like you to teach me how to do these things." And then Christmas came, and then New Year's came, and you know, and we did have a plan, and then COVID came, and all of those sorts of things. But what I can see is there's also a timing to that as well. So today, to get to that point in myself of realizing, you know what, Carol Anne's not doing these things because you've never taught her, Anayah. So it's really important for everyone. Ask for what you need. And I mean, even just for you, Carol Anne, Archangel Michael is amazing as a technical assistant.
Oh, good.
Michael has helped me to learn so much. And quite honestly, if I can learn it, anyone can learn it. And I know that can sound a little bit diminishing, but I really mean that. I mean, I had a brain injury in the 90s, and things can get really skew-whiff in my brain when there's a lot of information. But working with Michael, taking a breath, one step at a time, and this is the order of divine flow in action in my life. Because what am I going to do with the power of my free will choices?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And this is it. And I think that I'm like most people. When you don't know how to do something, it's like you've almost had your legs chopped out from underneath you sometimes, because you want to do something, you want to help, you want to support, but you don't know how to do it. So, you know, we always have to think about, you know, the other person's feelings as well. And so, you know, if I can help Anayah because she's busy, she's needing to be busy with the angel code and doing all those things, and she does so much work on Angel Heart Radio, which is just beautiful. And if I can take some of that pressure off her by doing some of it, well, then that's great. And sort of now we're stepping through to a degree, COVID. You know, we are able to stay distances, but, you know, we can get to see one another, because we couldn't have our board meetings or anything for months, because we couldn't get together to do things. Yes, we could do it on Zoom, but it's not the same as sitting at the keyboard and doing the steps one by one, when one of the people you're trying to teach has got absolutely no idea about any of it. So you can't do that easily. So, you know, it's interesting that as we're coming through COVID, we're getting more chances to do these things. And also it's good for both of us to feel that we don't feel helpless.
Yes. It's the step, I'm just writing in the chat, it's the step-by-step process that opens doors.
Yes.
And when we are prepared to open those doors, Gabby says she agrees 100%. I know, she says, I know I forget to ask for help at timely reminders. As we begin to see, it's not the forgetting to ask or the forgetting to do or the forgetting anything. That's not the point, which I always thought it was. That's what I thought it was about. They are just, as Gabby said, they are just reminders that, hey, there is actually a different way that you can do this if you choose. We've got, oh my goodness, you've just been speaking with Annette McCoy about so many amazing beings, including fairies and sylphs, etc. We've got the celestial dragons. We've got the angels, the archangels. We have the ascended masters. We have friends, earthly friends.
Yeah.
There is so much assistance and so much available to us. And it sounds so simple. You do a show that says, okay, this is what you do. Hey, Sandra, welcome. Wonderful to have you with us. Thank you. Please feel free to add any comments, questions, or feedback in the comments. You know, and it can seem like that, can't it? Well, this is what you do, and okay, that's simple. Big tick, and off you go on your merry way. But when you start breaking down personalities, even astrological charts, soul contracts, relationships, how you were brought up, where you're choosing to go right now, there are a lot of layers that we're experiencing. And as we are experiencing these layers, every single one of them has other opportunities and other doorways and processes for us.
Yes, they certainly do. And it's about us, okay, we'll step into this and we'll learn this layer. And yes, that one's going fine and good. Okay, now why is this one not going fine and good? Oh, dearie me. Okay, so let's get this sorted out. But it's part of the learning and the growing of our soul in this lifetime, because, you know, we're not just a human being, we're also a soul. And so we have to get the balance between those two. And so, you know, it's really interesting. Learning and growing is what it is all about, really and truly, because, you know, that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. And, you know, we don't really know exactly what the end thing about that is, if we're going to reach the contract or anything like that we've signed. But it's all about us learning step by step, not putting too much pressure on ourselves, you know, just relaxing into it. Because I know that if I'm sort of trying to get something done and then I can't get it done, it's like I can call on the angels, as you said. I can call on everybody, our wonderful team. We have the most immense and enormous team to call on. And we just got to remember to ask, just the same as I would ring an Anayah and say, help, what can I do here? What am I doing wrong? So, you know, it's asking them, the team, and it's asking the humans.
Yeah. And in doing all of that, we give ourselves permission for a really broad spectrum range of healing, growth, experience, understanding, joy. You know, we have a huge capacity for joy that quite often we don't actually tap into.
No.
You know, there is a real time to be serious and explore and enjoy that part of our nature. But there's also a time to have great joy and fun. And while this isn't everybody's personality, and that's fine, you know, we all enjoy things. And when I mean enjoy, which is take joy in different ways, it's important that we do experience that for ourselves. Because when we become close to ourselves in that way, I mean, I have wonderful conversations. I'm sure the people in the supermarket think I'm a lunatic some days. But every now and again, I just get a funny thought, Carol Anne, and I just have a giggle. And sometimes, and I've said out loud and I haven't even realised, oh, that's just so hilarious. It's just lovely. It's a beautiful thing, you know, because before I really began to connect with the angels, I was so sad and very unhappy in many ways, not in every way. I still had joy in my world, but I didn't trust myself. And I didn't have any respect for myself. And Sandra, welcome. Beautiful. I think I said welcome to you before. Hello, and most grooviest and glorious greeting.
Love it, love it, love it.
So cool. I just adore that, Sandra.
Yeah,
and to every single one of you, say hello, every one of you. Bowing now and always to you all as we bow to you, because you know what we have to remember, don't we? And we're both really love this fact and this aspect, Carol Anne, don't we? That we're learning from each other all the time, right?
Exactly. And you know what you were just saying before, it just sort of rung such a strong bell in my mind, because you know, you were saying how you talk to your team as you're going through the supermarket. I do that as well, and as I'm walking around the yard and everything. But up until the time that Anayah came and I were having lunch, and she asked me if I would like to come on Angel Heart Radio with her, I would no more have dreamed of actually talking to anybody. Yes, I did my little workshops and I had my meditation group and I did my little thing, but I kept my head below the radar. I thought, I don't want people to know who I am outside of my immediate circle. What a joke that was, eh? So
you know, last long, did it?
So, you know, I used to sort of just, okay, like I'm happy indeed for everybody else to get out there and do their things. But I would think what would go through my head is there are such amazing people out there. Why would anybody want to listen to anything I had to say? And that was such a big thing in my mind as part of my being below the radar. Nobody would want to listen to me. There are such amazing people out there. Yep. And you know, that was a major big thing for me to get over. And you know, it's just been the most awesome journey. It really has. And couldn't do it without my team, and especially with my human team, Anayah, and you know, it's just been glorious. So when we ask, when we step out of our own nobody would want to listen to me energy and all of those kinds of things, it's like the oyster is opening up and here's the pearl shining within it. And you know, it's just, it's just amazing.
Because there's no other way around it, is there, Carol Anne? No. That's up to us to take those steps. And hey, okay, so Angel Heart Radio is 10 in September, almost this month, right? So for you guys who maybe, you know, are new here, you won't know. My first show, which was on Blog Talk Radio, my first show, oh my Godfather, I was so nervous because, like Carol Anne, I was terrified. I was only actually terrified, as you know, of two things, that no one would listen and that someone would. So right in the middle of the big beefy sandwich of fear, I was getting squished, you know, like you wouldn't believe. So anyway, but the urge, the guidance was so, thank you, Sandra. Sandra's congratulating us. The urge and the guidance was so powerful to do this, to birth Angel Heart Radio, that I kept going. So for my very first show, which is available to listen to, and you'll hear the fear in my voice, no one could hear me for 27 minutes. 27 minutes. I've cut, obviously, the first 27 minutes out, so you don't have to sit and wait for 27 minutes if you'd like to hear it. However, what that taught me was the depth of my fear was so great. Do you know why no one could hear me for 27 minutes? I've ever told you?
You didn't want them to.
No, because I forgot to call into my own studio.
Oh!
I forgot to call in as the host. Right? So that began to teach me that there were no, I'm going to say this word now, it doesn't probably sound like much, there were no stuff-ups. There were no mistakes. There were no, because what that was showing me was the depth of my fear. And the number 27 was very, very powerful to me, because the angel numbers of 2 and 7, when you look at those numbers, 2 is keep the faith, keep the faith. And the 7 is you are on the right path.
Yeah.
Right? So the angels were there, even in the timing of that silence.
Mm-hmm.
And in that timing, I actually had a guest. This is what I did. It's hilarious. So I didn't have a microphone or anything in those days. And we're just sitting at the computer talking. And she's sitting here and I'm talking. I didn't tell her that no one could hear us, because I thought, I kept pretending to interview her. And the reason I did was I thought, I am so close to falling off the edge. If I tell to Beth this is happening, she's going to go into fear as well, and I won't know what to do. So meanwhile, I'm sending messages madly to someone, another host, and on a different show, and she got back to me and said, I know what's happening here, Anayah. Call in as a guest. I'm going to sort you out.
Mm-hmm.
And she called in as the host, and I called in as the guest, and we sorted it out that way. So in everything, there is great divinity.
Major learning in that, and you know, you haven't forgotten to do that since, have you? You've always remembered it, so it's been a really good lesson for you to learn. So
yeah, it was beautiful, because it showed me so many things about myself. And then for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, oh gosh, I gave myself a hard time. I really berated myself. I felt so embarrassed. I felt all of these fears and feelings, but what they really were, of course, they actually weren't about that at all. It's about other stuff, and it was all being brought up for healing for me. And then again, it was the divinity of flow, because I then had the choice: am I going to step into this, or am I just going to say, well, I've tried, doesn't work, did my best, and obviously I didn't, but it was one of the most pivotal growth experiences for me. And here we are 10 years later, on camera. You know, everything's just amazing. But I didn't just land here.
No, it's been a long journey. It's been a very intense journey at times. But how awesome is it? And this is it. It's just such a reflection of your ability to not give in, even when you felt like it. And it's about the wonderful, wonderful hosts and everybody that you've brought into the Angel Heart Radio family, because, you know, it's such an amazing, amazing group of wonderful people. And now to think that it's going out to so many countries throughout the world and through so many streaming services. It's just a really big tick.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean that this is where you stop. This is just where you are at this time, and it's just going to go on, and it's going to grow from here on in.
Exactly. And it gives so much. Oh, thank you so much, Jo. She says she's so proud of me. Thank you, Sandra. I'm really proud of myself as well. And some people don't like that word proud, but for me it's a beautiful, heart-filled sense of joy.
Yeah.
And if you guys love the angel numbers, the angels asked me if I would spend some time with them to create angel like 777 angel numbers, because they nothing on Angel Heart is copied and pasted from anywhere. Everything is original. And so I've sat down with them and brought that through, and they are there, and there more will come, but you will be able to understand any number by seeing what's there, and they're expanded. They're beautiful.
They are.
There is so much support for us and our journeys here, our path isn't, for me, it's never about, well, I'm here to do this, I must do it this way. Our path encompasses, if you imagine, oh, this is showing me so beautiful. Oh, wow, mind blowing. If you imagine this massive, great, the ocean, and if you see the aerial view, and as you look in, it branches out constantly into, there's streams, there's rivers, there's lakes, there's tributaries, but everything is connected, and eventually everything goes back to the source. Every drop of water goes back to the source. And that's what our paths are. There's so many branches and ways and opportunities, and please, guys, follow your passion.
Yeah.
Follow
Because
it.
the more you step into that,
the
bigger the passion will grow.
And the more you will see just how much support there is for you, always, in so many ways. And sometimes those ways feel very insignificant at the time.
Yeah.
Wow, nothing is insignificant at all.
No, it's not. And it's being willing to accept what is happening in your life, and to accept what is coming to you, and what you feel that you need to share with everybody, because it's really exciting at this time that what is our passion is also so many other people's passions. And so, not only, we're not then keeping it to ourselves, we're sharing it out to them, and they're sharing it out to the people they know. And as you were saying about the ocean and the rivers and the tributaries, it's just rippling out throughout the world. And if we can bring this beautiful gift of love and compassion and Angel Heart Radio to the world, then, how different will things be? But we can't change anything, but we can help to put the ripples out there that are going to touch the people they're meant to touch. Because not everybody's going to believe.
No, we can't change that.
No.
And it's not our job to change that. It's our job to be the change we want to see in those great, great words.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes I'm given things that I think, oh, there's no way in the world I can do anything with this. It's too big for me, which happened, as you know, Carol Anne, and many of you do, with the Angel Code, which is coming out this week. Oh, look at that. Apparently it's coming out quicker than I realized this year. When the angels first started giving me the Angel Code, I didn't even know it had a code in it, or actually millions and trillions of codes in it. I didn't even know that. I thought they were just words. And here it is almost 20 years later, having that experience of following my path, because I had to be ready for this. This book has changed me from the inside out, and I had to be ready for that. The extent of my personal growth through this book is like, it's so incredible. So having this opportunity, And for years and years and years, I didn't do anything with it. And people were saying, oh, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it. But I knew it wasn't the time. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones. It is time now. It is time right now. So give yourself a break, guys. If you've got a project or projects that you've not done anything with, it's the divinity of divine flow. That is what will see you through for everything. So these are not concepts. We are living this in our personal lives. Yeah.
Definitely. And you know, the other interesting thing about that is that it wasn't, as you say, the time to bring it. Humanity wasn't in the place it is now. But I can, of course, we can only ever really relate to what happens to us. But I can remember, you know, when I was asked to do some talks about the elementals and the dragons and all of that, and I'd say, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And then I'd stop and think, and about 2 or 3 days later, I think, oh, I can't do that. Nobody will listen to me. But I went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I am so passionate about it now. And it's like the next lot of things that I may be doing. And I just sort of think, why did I say I'd do that? And then I thought,
what was I thinking?
yeah, what was I thinking? And then I thought, well, no, it's obviously if they wanted to go ahead, it will go ahead. And so it's just this amazing trust we have when we're in the flow, because you know, even though this human part of you think, oh, I can't do that. Well, what was I thinking? But the other part of you, the soul part of you, the heart part of you says, okay, if they say let's go ahead and do this, then it's meant to happen at this time. So this is, to me, is about the flow, whole flow thing. You know, it's like you take a step forward and then you want to take 10 steps backwards, but that's not going to happen because you have made that step forward. And so then it's flowing out from there.
And you can't put a timer. There's no stopwatch.
No, there's no time on it.
No, there isn't. And you know, I had meetings with publishers, a publisher in the early days, and I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. And I walked into the hotel room where he was interviewing prospective authors, and I knew straight off, this is, you know, I just knew. But I kept thinking, oh, but it's a publisher. You know, maybe that's all I need to focus on right now. So Sharon says we crack her up. Sharon, thank you, because we crack ourselves up as well.
Yeah, we can relate to that.
And anyway, so when he said, okay, what's your book about? And I told him, and he looked at me like I had, you know, pointy ears and was green or something. But I knew this was important for me to really state clearly and honestly what was going on here. For me, what this book was about. And what I realized now looking back was that was bringing up for me, because I had such a deep desire to, you know, please, particularly adult males in any type of authority position. And so everything in me wanted to say, look, I'm a really good girl, just really like me, and I'll make it anything you want, right? But I just kept going with it, and I just stayed true to it. And through a series of events and meetings and other things that took place, he helped me to realize I actually had another book in me, which is also going to be coming out. But I stayed true to it. Yeah. And that was beautiful, even though it was terrifying. And then I had lots of people saying, but, you know, well, you know, essentially you've buggered up the meeting with the publisher. Nothing's happening now. But I knew I just knew it. I could feel it. Mm-hmm. I could feel I was doing what was right for the angel code. I could feel it. And I just kept that as my beacon, no matter how much I talked down to myself about it or got scared about it, and just kept going. And when I look now, Wow. It's just, look at what's happening on the planet. You know, the angels call the angel code a blanket for the weary. A blanket for the weary. We are so weary in so many ways around the planet right now. Imagine this blanket for the weary coming out like a kiss of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get really emotional. The amount of love in my heart for this book and what is in it, some of which I don't even understand. It makes no sense to me. But they just said, I said, well, maybe I should cut it out. And they said, what doesn't make sense to you will make perfect sense to somebody else. Right? So it's this kiss of kindness coming out into the world to settle upon us. This blanket for the weary that will just wrap us in its love and light. The depth of my gratitude that they chose me as its emissary to carry it into the world, it's enormous.
It is enormous. And you know, another one of the things that it teaches is to believe in yourself.
Yep.
Because, you know, we're the harshest critics about ourselves. We're hardest on ourselves. And so this is about believing in yourself, because, you know, you don't get given something like the angel, you don't get gifted something like the angel code if you are not the right person to birth it into the world. Just like Angel Heart Radio, you birthed Angel Heart Radio into the world. And, you know, so it's about trusting and believing in yourself that you are absolutely magnificent, just as we all are. We need to remember our magnificence, because this is what the angels tell us is about. Remember your magnificence.
Yeah, so true. So I'm just putting this in the chat. So if you guys, Sharon says she can't wait. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sharon. I mean, I can't wait either, but I can wait, if you know what I mean.
Neither can I.
Yeah. So if you guys would like to receive occasional updates about what is happening, where it's at in the process, you can easily receive those by going to theangelcode.com. You will see there's a form, and all you got to do is fill it out, and you won't be inundated with, you know, emails every single week or day or whatever. I'll send you updates and let you know what's happening. And you can be a part of this with me. The journey is so cool.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. And you know, I've been blessed because I've got to read a lot of it. I have read all of it, but you've made some changes in some pages or something since then. So, but
it's not that really, I haven't changed any words.
No.
As you know, it's about, okay, so when the angels started giving this to me, don't ask me what, my eyes were always half closed and I was always lying down. And I would just write the words as they came through. And it was the first time I'd ever done it. And it was amazing, actually. At the time, none of the words seemed to go together, and I didn't know they were saying something to me, but the feeling was amazing, so I kept going, right? So when I finally did realise, oh, here we go again. When I finally did realise, it was really beautiful because A, it knocked my socks off, but B, it began to open my heart.
Yeah.
But there were no commas, you know, so it was just words on a page, all these words. So it's now for me and to really work with the angels to see where it belongs, you know. So is this the end of a sentence here? Do we go to the next line here? Which sounds very easy, but when you read it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Carol Anne knows.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of changes. Not one word is being left out.
No words.
Not one single word. They are important. Every single one of them vibrationally is so expansive for the people who read them and connect with them.
Yeah.
And I've been reading this for 20 years now, and it's still fresh, still new every single time. And it still brings me to such a heart expansion.
Mm.
The heart expansion is enormous. 20 years ago, I didn't have that capacity. But with the code, all these years, and the angels, and my life and my work and everything, all the choices, you know, Carol Anne, it's the same for you and everybody else. It's just that beautiful opening. And I'm ready now.
Yeah. And as you've grown in yourself, then you've got to the next stage of going through the angel code, and it's like you know, it's 20 years, but it's like a mother carrying a baby for 9 months. You know, it's like all the steps along the way until the time for the birth, and that's it. Because you know, we have all these different stages in our lives, and it's about understanding them. And you're in such a different place to where you were 20 years ago. So you know, 20 years ago was to get the transmission come through, but since then it's been getting it to the next stage, and it's almost.
That's right. And it's worked on me that for the whole 20 years. And that's the really cool thing about this, is it won't matter whether you've got this book for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, it will continue. It's worked with you the whole time.
Yeah.
And again, coming back to the topic of the show, I didn't mean to turn it into an angel code show, but this is the divinity of this amazing flow that we're in. We are all in it all the time. The level of support and grace and love, the level of love for us. And I can tell you quite frankly, it makes no difference what you have done in your life. If you think you're the worst person in the whole world, it makes no difference to the angels and God, to Creator, to Source. No difference whatsoever. We are all magnificent beings with the capability to live our purpose. And as you will find out on the show next week with Janet, make sure you are with us for that, please. Some people, there is a percentage of the population, for want of a better word, who are not going to wake up. And it's not our job to try and make them.
No. Everybody has free will. And if they don't choose to wake up, then that's fine. That is their choice. And, you know, the other thing to think about is we're exactly where we're meant to be at this time. It's no accident that we're here. No accident that the book is getting ready to be published, etc. All of these steps, there's no coincidences and there's no accidents. And the other thing is we all chose to be here at this time. So, you know, that to me is so exciting too, that we chose to be here at this time. So, you know, let's send out the love and the happiness and the gratitude, passion. And, you know, if somebody else doesn't want to step into that place, that's their choice.
That's exactly right. And having that opportunity to step into that individually and collectively is so powerful. And part of that for me is about coming into the harmony of my soul's journey without trying to fix everybody else's soul's journey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that has not been an easy experience for me, because I, like a lot of people carrying earth angel energy, I really wanted to fix everything. I really wanted things to be beautiful. And it is. It's already beautiful, and that's what I couldn't see. Even amongst everything that's happening, there is great beauty. And that's the purpose of our focus. The more we focus on that, the more we harmonize with that, the more we support that on the planet.
Yes, yes. Because we can only live our own journey. We can't live anyone else's journey for them. So what they choose to do is what they choose to do. We can be there to support them, to love them. If they ask for information, we can give that to them. But it has to be their decision about whether or not they want to take that information, because we're each an individual soul on our own journey, even our own family. We can't live their life. We can love, guide and support them, but we can't live their life. We can only live our own. And so that is something we all need to keep in mind.
Yes, very much so. Beautifully said, Carol Anne. So, okay. Sandra says, I love this. When I tell my son it is going to be okay, he tells me it already is.
He's right.
He's right. Well done, Sandra. Look at this person that you've brought into the world and raised. Look at that. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. So if you guys have anything you'd like us to present on Angel Heart Radio, please do let us know, because we love having, see, it's about conscious conversations for us, isn't it, Carol Anne? It's not about what can we tell you, it's how can we share with you. So do let us know if there is anything at all that we can present for you, and in that sense with you, because you'll be with us, you're in the comments section. So like look at Sandra and Gabby and Nathan and so many others of you, Sharon. We've been able to really share this conversation with you today, and that's been wonderful. Thank you.
It has been wonderful, and the exciting thing about it all is about going with the flow. Yeah, today's show didn't turn out to have our guest. We'll have her next week. But we're happy to come on and talk about anything you would like us to talk about. And this is it. I'm quite sure. I know I get told sometimes I could talk underwater, but
Me too.
Yeah,
but you know what?
This is why we're so good.
Yeah, this is important, because we come in already gifted with what we need to fulfill our purpose. We are communicators.
Yeah.
This is our part of our purpose. So we can do this. We are able to do this. So right there, the fact that we can talk, underwater, is perfect. And Sandra says, thank you most kindly and most dearly indeed. I love you and appreciate you all. And thank you. We appreciate and really love you and care about you too, Sandra. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll be back at the same time next week with our fantastic astrologer, Janet Hickox, talking about support for as we enter and really step forward into the age of Aquarius. This is going to be a brilliant show. And if you didn't see her last month with us with our spirit awareness, what we need to know between now and 2027, make sure you see that if it sounds interesting. It was brilliant. And it's available in the video section on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel.
And this is it. I just wanted to say something about where we're saying about talking underwater. I can remember my mother telling me once, I asked her a question. I was going to be doing a talk, and she said, Carol, all you need to do is open your mouth and out it'll come. And she was darn right.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
We love it.
And she's still sharing her wisdom with you.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. Yeah. Okay, I think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. So thank you, everybody, for being with us today. We've loved talking to you, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future and always.
So we are here every Wednesday at the 8:30 Central in the USA, which is 11:30 a.m. in Brisbane on Thursday. We have amazing people on Angel Heart Radio. Carol Anne was with Annette with her weekly show, and Annette is brilliant. She's been on Angel Heart Radio nearly as long as I have. We have Deb Goldberg. Who else do we have? Terry Angel. We just have such amazing people on Angel Heart Radio. And Marsha Martin, the Heart Healer. It's been wonderful. And Sandra says, I feel your love, Anayah and Carol Anne, and your crew. Hope you feel my love too. We certainly do. We are heart to heart. And yes, we are indeed. That is so true. So thank you all. Love, 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 love. And today I'm going to have a go at playing the outro. How's that, Carol Anne? Didn't know I was going to do that, did you?
Say something before you play the outro.
Yes. Is it my turn to say it or your turn to say it?
I think.
Whose turn?
Your turn, I think.
My turn. Okay. And this is so important. This is one of the most spiritual things I'm ever going to say. You'll come back now.
Bye, everybody. Lots of love. See you next week.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world,
I don't know why the
and
sound's
to
not
let
playing,
you
but I'm
know
going to tell you what
that
it
we
says.
appreciate
It says
who
you've
you
been
are
listening to
in the
another
world.
fabulous program
You can check
on
out who's
Angel
on,
Heart
when
Radio.
we're on, and who
Angel
our
Heart
guests
Radio
are
programs
at
are not designed to replace your
angelheartradio.com.
legal, medical,
Everything is
professional
there.
advice or
It's
any
all
advice
just
at all.
one click
We don't
away.
offer advice.
Angel
any of
Heart
us,
Radio
but we
programs
do
are
offer a
powerful
lot of
tools
love,
to help
care,
you in your
and
life and your life
sharing.
experience.
So thank
They
you
are
all
not
for joining
intended.
us, and we look forward to seeing you with us very, very soon. Lots of love.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Anayah. Lots of
Bye,
love.
Bunny. Lots of love, honey bunny. Big hug. Virtual hug. Got it.